So today we're looking at chase scenes, and from what I can tell, they're mostly pretty high pace.
He may have been protesting something.
Right.
Well,
Expressway, but that's
most of
all
them.
we know at this point.
So there are a lot of different types of camera shots used in chase scenes. The first one I want to look at is the use of a static shot. This is where your camera would be locked down on a tripod without any camera movement, with your vehicles moving through the shot. These shots can be a great way to put your viewer in the perspective of an onlooker. Having these shots at a low angle can increase the scale of objects coming towards and away from the camera. Static shots can work great to convey speed and tension, and they work just as well in the Wild West as they do in the far future. A variation on this type of shot is when your camera is still locked to the environment, but tracks along with your vehicles. This still conveys the sense of speed that your vehicles have as they pass by the camera location, but has a little more flow to it. It also somewhat simulates the experience of an onlooker following a vehicle as they pass by. While we're talking about environments, it's worth mentioning that several directors like Katsujiro Otomo like pulling their viewers away from the chase at hand to experience some aspect-to-aspect shots of the world that the chase is taking place in. The next main type of shot is any shot that is either connected to or moving along with your vehicles. This allows you to put your viewer right in the experience with your main subjects.
Hell, I'm just trying to keep this thing interesting. You can't write me off like that. You're just a voice, pal.
Now let's look at several different types of shots that are attached to the vehicles, such as vehicle detail, like adding NOS, firing lasers, or even pedaling a bicycle. And a lot of gear shifting. We see a lot of gear shifting. And now how about some animated gear shifting? And your subjects are bound to talk to each other at some point, and that's usually covered in a medium shot, either from the front or in profile. Although, some directors are not a fan of profile shots. Another highly used type of attached to vehicle shot is the point of view shot. This is typically used to show an element of the vehicle or an oncoming obstacle. There also comes a time when almost every director gives up on subtlety and just wants to play bumper cars. This usually ends in one or both of the vehicles losing control and swerving off into a beautiful cacophony of explosions. Another thing to think about when choosing your camera shots is how you can tilt your camera either against or with your vehicle to increase tension. And when working in animation, it can be incredibly hard to visualize just how fast your vehicles are going without natural elements like motion blur. Therefore, it's fairly common to add in components like sand, wind, or dust to help show just how fast your vehicle is moving through the environment. You can even throw in some speed lines if you're feeling fancy. Alright, now that we've talked about all the different types of shots, we get to put them all together. And the most important concept to keep in mind when composing a chase scene is screen direction. The reason why screen direction is so important is it helps the viewer visually understand what's going on screen and where each subject is heading at any given time. As an example, we can clearly see that Indiana Jones just left screen left, while our friendly neighborhood Nazis are also moving screen left. Even though we don't see them on screen at the same time, we can intuit that they are heading in the same direction. Maintaining consistent screen direction throughout action set pieces can help create a cohesive sense of forward momentum. That being said, there are plenty of exceptions to this idea, like this back and forth between Leia and this stormtrooper. One of the easiest ways to re-establish your screen direction is to pull out into a wide shot while your vehicles change from screen right to screen left or vice versa. Once you have screen direction figured out, there are a lot of other areas to play with, such as verticality. A lot of chase scenes stay on a horizontal level, but you don't have to. Why not take things up, or drop down a level? You also might need to speed your characters up, or slow them down. Also, don't be afraid to pull from movies you love. Take concepts that excite you and change them and make them your own. After all,
nothing is completely original.
And by utilizing concepts and elements from films you love, you can pay homage to the films that came before you. Well, with all that said, I hope you're ready to make one hell of a chase scene. The last thing I'll say is don't be afraid to go big and forget about reality. Because in film, well, anything is possible.